Yo, what's going on, everyone? It's your boy Ben and JV from JBM Sports Media. We have a very fun video here today. We're going to be talking about 10 bounce back candidates for the 2026 MLB season. Me and JV both have 5 each. We're going to get straight into it, not even hesitating. Starting off with one of JV's picks right here. He has Spencer Strider, starting pitcher of the Atlanta Braves. JV, if you want to throw your quick synopsis on this one.
Yeah, listen, I like Spencer Strider a lot this year for this Braves rotation. He could be a workhorse when he's healthy. He just has to stay healthy. I mean, this guy's been riddled with every injury that you could possibly think of. It's shortened a lot of his seasons. But last year, specifically, he threw 125 innings. That's got to go up, right, for him to be successful. He was 7-14 with a 4.5 ERA. I don't think that's like him. I think he was getting hit a little early in counts as well, not trusting some of his fastball and his hard stuff in. I think he was going too much to a breaking ball, leaving stuff flat in the zone and just kind of getting shelled. So I think he's going to clean that up. And if he can stay healthy, I think this guy could turn that 7-14 season around and become 14-7 with maybe with an under 3 ERA. He's that good. So, like I said, if he can stay healthy, this guy's going to be a workhorse.
Yeah, I still believe in him. I really do. I think only thing that matters with him is obviously health and full year. Obviously, coming back from TJ, he did the recovery in the offseason. Everything's good. So I think he's due for a very good bounce back season right here. Next up, I'm going to pull up another pitcher who I think, same division, NL East. I have Sandy Alcantara from the Miami Marlins. Even though he did pitch a full year, just very inconsistent. There was times where he would have a good start, then 2 bad starts, a good start, and then 3 bad starts. So very inconsistent for the most part. But I think a little bit of that had to do with the TJ as well. Like, obviously, coming back full season after TJ. I think now that he has a full off season, it's going to be a night and day for Sandy, obviously. And there's a little bit of probably momentum for him, obviously, maybe wanting to get traded. Like, so what if I pitch good, go to a contender? I think that's in the back of his head, maybe not fully, but I assume he thinks about it to an extent. So I really do like Sandy as a bounce back candidate. I think he could be really good. Obviously, Edward Cabrera is no longer on that rotation. So I do think it adds a little bit more pressure to Sandy having to be spectacular for Miami, at least to start off the season. And yeah, maybe boost up his trade value.
Yeah, listen, I love this pick, bro. This is a great pick. It's actually a no-brainer, to be honest with you, if you think about it. I mean, we're talking about a potential Cy Young winner or even at least a top 5 finish. He's that good when he's on. So I really love this. I think, Miami is only going to be anything successful, as long as they have this guy pitching behind them and pitching well. There's no way they're going to be a good team if he can't pitch well. So we saw that last year. This team wasn't a horrible team, and he had a rough season. If he didn't have a rough season, it was actually the opposite of what he was. Does this team sniff a wild card? Potentially.
Who knows?
So if he could stay healthy and he shows us what he's really made of, and what we know he's made of, I think it's sky's the limit for Sandy right now. I think he could really be a force to be reckoned with.
All right, let's keep it in the NL, but move it down to the NL Central. JB's next pick is Matt McLain, second baseman from the Cincinnati Reds. What you got, JB?
So listen, this guy had okay numbers last year. He had 247, but he really does hit for average. He's got the potential to hit 290, 300, and he did that a few years back. And I do think his power numbers and his RBI production is going to actually go up as well. He seems to be hovering around 15 home runs. I think he can hit 22 to 23, and I think he can actually have 65 to 70 RBIs and really boost up that RBI production. And I think he has to hit a little bit better with runners in scoring position. I think was another problem that he had. So as long as he could turn that around, I think Matt McLain is going to be one of the better infielders in the NL and not just the NL Central.
I think one thing for him, obviously, is health, a big portion of it. If he stays healthy and he starts producing for the Reds, being one of those bats in that lineup alongside Eugenio Suarez and Ellie De La Cruz that can make productive impact in that roster, I think that would absolutely be a major plus for the Cincinnati Reds right there. So I actually really do like that pick. And you know what? Right here, we're going to keep it in the NL Central, actually. I got one of my own guys, William Contreras. You might be thinking, technically, he didn't have the worst year, which is true. He batted 260, 17 home runs. But I think one thing that I'll put for William Contreras, compared to his 2024 season, you could see that the surgery he had on his finger, it was really impacting him throughout the whole year. Now it's obviously everything's healed. But you could tell that William Contreras was having problems at that time. pull hitting on that ball, and it became an issue for the Brewers in the early half of the year. He was able to manage it better in the second half. But now that that's gone out the picture, and the surgery did everything wonders with the finger and everything like that, I think we're going to get a very good, more 2024-esque season from William Contreras from the Brewers.
Yeah, listen, and he's another player. If he's going to be hot, they're going to be tough to beat in the NL Central. And for this guy to even be in this list, it's crazy, right? I didn't expect Contreras to be in this list, but he did have an off season, and if he could bounce back and really help this offense, it's gonna be a sight for sore eyes, and I think Milwaukee would love that to have that problem in their lineup every day. So hopefully his 2026 is a bounce back year.
Yeah, I really do hope so as well. Just last thought on it. I think if we could get even anywhere from him batting 275, 280-ish, and maybe 20 home runs, that'd be a major plus right there. So that's something I'm going to look at. But you know what? Let's stay at the catcher position. JV's next pick is Adley Rutschman from the Baltimore Orioles.
Yeah, listen, the Baltimore Orioles, they've kind of showed more confidence in Basallo. I'm not sure if I'm saying his name right, but the 8-year deal that they just gave him, Rutschman's probably looking like, what's going on here? Just because I had a couple of off seasons, I'm the odd man out. But if you look at his numbers, they're actually brutal. 229 home runs, 29 RBIs,
Really bad.
37 runs scored. I mean, he was not anywhere near what he could be offensively, and it kind of hurt his game defensively as well. And for a team to be successful, such as the Orioles, they need him. They really do. Especially power hitter from the left-handed side. It's crucial that they have his bat. Obviously, they want him behind the plate, but to have that bat as well is just such a crucial part to how the Orioles are going to be successful. And to not have that come through is just going to be a massive blow, which is why they have they've shown more confidence in Basallo, and it's kind of sucks, I guess, for Rutschman, but he's got to use that as some type of fire that he can light under him and have a bounce back 2026.
One thing I'll say about Rutschman, I think if he doesn't exactly bounce back and his health is still a little bit of a question mark, the Orioles might actually consider moving this guy. I know there was, reports in the offseason, but they're looking like they want to give him at least one more chance. But I think the reason that they have a great amount of confidence in Samuel Basallo is because, Rutschman right now hasn't really been all that the last 2 years, if we could be quite honest. So it's going to be very interesting to see how he plays out. I think as long as he's healthy, I think he was dealing with the oblique thing. I think he could be way better. I really still do believe in Adley Rutschman. I think it's just a matter of time for him to just, like I said, health is going to be big for him. But let's keep it going right here with my next pick. I have Sean Manaea of the New York Mets. And this, obviously, it's because of the oblique injury as well. But when he came back, he just looked brutal. Even though his strikeout percentage was still there, like he was getting a good amount of Ks. It's just with him walking significant batters, I think that just needed to stop. Do I think he's going to be, all the way back in the sense of how he performed in 2024? I wouldn't say all that, but I just don't think he's going to be as brutal as he was last year in the second half. Transitioning, I know they had him transition to the bullpen. I just don't see that being a thing where he struggles big time as much as he did last year. Obviously, I know that oblique caused them to miss a significant portion of the year, but I still do believe in Sean Manaea, and I think he'll have a little bit of a bounce back.
Yeah, this is definitely an interesting pick. He's got to stay healthy. That to me is the major thing. The minute he's out of his groove due to injury and he gets interrupted, it kind of sets him back a lot. It looks like every time he comes back from an injury, he never gets back into a groove due to that first interruption. So I think he's got to go. Unfortunately, he's gonna have to have a fully uninterrupted season in order to be successful. He can't have any setbacks. Because I think the minute he makes 5 or 6 starts and then he gets hurt again, I don't think he's going to be the same after that. He just never usually bounces back, post injury, and looks the same. But hopefully that he could put at least together 25 starts would be a solid bounce back season for a guy like Manaea.
Absolutely. All right, let's keep it going right here on to JV's next pick, and we have Josh Young of the Texas Rangers right here. This is actually a pretty good pick.
Yeah, listen, this kid, the first couple of years of his career was an absolute beast. I mean, he was showing 30 home run power, 80 plus RBIs. potential, and he could hit for average. And when I say average, I'm talking about above 270, and really be a force in the middle of that lineup. But again, injury bug, just getting bitten by the injuries here, and it's plaguing the last few years of Josh Young to the point where uh, you know it's almost been like he's been a forgotten piece in that lineup. It's just a Corey Seager and now Jake Berger, and at one point they had Adolis Garcia, and now you look around and he's kind of the guy that's been the missing link. And it's not because of his bad play. It's due to the fact that he's just never healthy at the last few years. And I think if he could just stay healthy, this kid could have a monster year at third base, honestly. He's a very good defender. And like I said, he could be one of the best hitters in the American League if this kid's right.
Yeah, I think health's been a big thing for Josh Young. The one thing that just concerns me is obviously with Simeon no longer being there. Well, like if he's not on it, like defensively, because he's had a few issues defensively as well. His offense has obviously been his big plus. If he's just not on it defensively, and obviously Seager, we know with his injury concerns as well, this Texas lineup could be very, very a little scary if they don't got anything going on for themselves, especially if their main hitters can't stay healthy, is what I'm trying to say
Yeah,
here.
100%.
So we'll just see how that plays out. But I do still think he's a very talented ball player. It's just a matter if he can stay on the field. So, and talking about
Yeah.
staying on the field, the next guy I have right here is Mike Trout from the LA Angels. I think even though he was for the most part on the field, yes, he had a little bit of an IL stint last year with the knee injury, but came out already. He's going to be back at center field this year for the LA Angels. And I think it's honestly that's where he should be. I don't think he should have went to right. I kind of understand why he did it to try to preserve the body, but guess what? Still got banged up, and he just didn't look good in the second half. I think his approach at the plate was just putrid. I'll be honest, I wasn't a big fan of Mike Trout last year at all. It was very frustrating to see how he was playing. Is that because of injuries as well? Yes, but I mean, we seen the hot takes video we had. I know Mike said that he expects, or a hot take was him to get traded at the deadline. I just don't see that being the case. But I do see a fully healthy season from Trout. And with that being said, I think he's going to do better than how he did last year. And I think that's a no-brainer. I think he knows him personally. He can't have that happen again.
No, yeah. And listen, if he could play 140 games this year, that'll excuse me, that'll be a blessing. The fact that he could get that many in, that would be fantastic. When he's healthy, it's a great thing for the game, for the game of baseball and for fans everywhere to finally get to see this guy play. Healthy baseball, it would be a real blessing. So hopefully, from your mouth to God's ears, this guy can stay on the field because he can actually help this team win and be somewhat formidable. I'm not saying make the playoffs, but at least maybe not be a laughing stock where maybe they win 75, 76 games
Yeah.
and they look kind of decent. But without him in the lineup, even when last year he didn't hit for average, and it was definitely not a Mountjoy season. If he could just come back, like I said, and play 140, I think he could give those Mike Trout numbers that we're used to seeing and probably hit 32, 33 home runs and knocking close to 100 again.
I really do hope so. I still believe he's maybe not a superstar elite player no more, but still an all-star caliber player if he is fully healthy and he gets things on track, which I do believe he will this year. Let's move on to JV's last pick right here, and he has O'Neal Cruz of the Pittsburgh Pirates. A very, very good pick right here as well.
Yeah, listen, I was very shocked to see O'Neal Cruz's numbers, honestly, due to the fact that this kid is so talented. This kid should not be hitting 200. I don't care. He should be progressing way better than he has, and I think that's kind of on him. I think his attitude a little bit, he gets a little down on himself and maybe starts to not care. But I also think that his coaches need to pick him up a little bit and understand that this kid is such a huge talent, and he's 6'7". He's a big body. He's got speed. He's obviously he could play shortstop and now the outfield, playing center field, which he has to improve on. I know that hasn't been the best transition, but he's giving it a go. So at least he could say that he's done it before. But he's going to get better with the bat. He can't hit 200. He's going to be able to get on base and be able to utilize his speed. And obviously he's got the power. We know he could hit 20 to 25 home runs, even more, when he's right. And probably not getting close to 70, 80 RBIs. This kid could be an absolute monster. To me, he reminds me of like an Ellie De La Cruz before Ellie De La Cruz actually came into the league. He's got those tangibles. So I'd like to see a lot more from O'Neal Cruz this year, especially with how Pittsburgh had their offseason. I thought they had a very good offseason, and I'd like to see him be a part of why they're successful.
A big part of Pittsburgh's success this year, what they look to be at least contemplating a 500 ball club, is going to be how well O'Neal Cruz could play. Batting 200 is an absolute no-go for him. I think that cannot happen. He's already lost his job at shortstop. Obviously, Connor Griffin's going to come up. He plays center now. Look, this kid is a very, very talented player, and the fact that we talk about him as a bounce back candidate, it's brutal, because I think even if he was a slightly maybe a batting 250 type of player, that could be a whole different ball changer right there for Pittsburgh. But the fact that he has struggled with batting average, striking out as well, lackadaisical defense. I mean, come on, it's just at some point he got to click. At some point he got to click. That's all I got to say about him.
He's too talented to have a season that he had last year. Like I said, everything was down. The average at 200 is just unacceptable. This kid should be hitting at least 60, 70 points higher, and he should be stealing 40-plus bags every year. He's got the speed, the ability to score runs. He's got to be able to be that ball player for this team to be successful.
Yeah, and our last pick, or my last pick, should I say, I have Tanner Scott from the Los Angeles Dodgers. Obviously,
it's a great pick.
Yeah, if we saw what he did last year, very brutal, obviously, compared to his Padres season the year before, and the bag that he got from the LA Dodgers, and him to go out there, he blew a lot of saves for them. And it was just a thing where he didn't even look comfortable. When he was locating his pitches in the strike zone, they were getting hit bad, and they were getting hit with a lot of exit velo as it exited. I think he's due for this, and we know that he didn't. I don't think he was in the postseason roster, if I remember correctly, because he had I think he had a cyst in his ass, like he had to get that surgery. He had a cyst in his ass, and he had to get it removed. So he didn't. If I'm reading this correctly, he had in his buttocks area, but he had a cyst in it and an abscess in his ass, and he had to get it removed. So he didn't make it for the NLDS and NLCS. But look, everything's good now. Hopefully everything's good with his ass and everything like that. But Tanner Scott, a big bounce back candidate. I think he's going to be a great setup guy for Edwin Diaz. I really do believe that.
Oh man, I hope his ass is
right
now. This is crazy. But listen, it can't get any worse for Tanner Scott from a professional side of things. Forget his ass. That's a whole nother ball game. But obviously this guy in San Diego was a complete dominant bullpen piece, and then he came to LA and he's the complete opposite. It was a 180 of a pitcher, and I think it was 4 years, $72 million, if I'm not mistaken. So
I think so.
We're talking $18 million a year for that's basically closer money, and he's not even their closer. So it's Edwin Diaz. So you better go out and have a monster breakout year for the Dodgers, because they're paying you a pretty penny to not close games. So they want you to shut down games in the eighth, and if you can't do that, you're going to be you're pretty much useless at that point. So. And you're basically untradeable. I don't think anybody's going to want to take a guy who's not being able to find himself in a certain role. So that's a lot of money to take on. So he can only hurt himself by pitching bad. So he's gonna have to have a bounce back 2026.
Absolutely. I just want to throw this out there. Is there any guys that you guys believe will be bounce back candidates? Which players are on the top of your guys' mind? Leave it in the comment section. We obviously respond to every comment. We appreciate all the support here at JBM Sports Media. Make sure to subscribe here on YouTube and follow on IG and TikTok at JBM Sports Media. Until the next one, we'll see you guys later. Peace.